Mark, has the dollar bottomed? It's been up over the last few sessions, and I'm wondering whether it's turned a corner.
I don't think so. I have to say I'm struggling to get conviction this week. As you know, I remain kind of structurally quite bullish overall on equity markets around the world, and I still think that too many rate cuts are priced into the curve this week. But I do accept that going into jobs data this week, there's probably potential for dollar to bounce a bit further from here. I think if it's a very strong number, well then suddenly we've got still some rates priced into price out, and that will support the dollar. And I think it's a very weak number. I think the dollar will still benefit a little bit from haven demand. So, look, I don't think the dollar is bottom for the year. I think the dollar overall is probably, we've seen the peak for the year, but earlier on this year, I think dollar's got more downside ahead over the next 6-8 months. But at the very short term, I think it's really, really hard to have any conviction in either direction.
Well, Mark, on that haven demand story, is it still the haven going into the U.S. election compared to, say, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, gold? I'm going to even throw the pound in there, just given its outperformance. Would you still call it that?
Yeah, it's a valid question, Kriti. I think that there's kind of two different aspects, like types of haven. One is the fact is the dollar is still the world's reserve currency. When there are extreme deleveraging events in markets, that still means that people retrench to the world's reserve currency, which means the dollar. And the dollar's not losing that aspect anytime soon. So it'll always be a haven in extreme scenarios. Is it the first turn at the moment as a haven? No, probably not. And I'm with you kind of in the implication from your question that the election won't probably be a good story for the dollar. And I do think that part of the reason that I think the dollar ultimately is probably starting another long-term kind of whiplashy downtrend, bear trend, is because the election will be negative. Both parties are going to ramp up the fiscal side. And I think ultimately that will weigh on the dollar because there's large twin deficits, the current account deficit as well as the fiscal deficit.
Mark, looking ahead to the European session, we have pressure on commodity markets of various forms through the Asia session. I see steel prices are weaker, iron ore prices down by 2.8%, copper prices down 1% through the Asia session. Another day of worrying perhaps about the Chinese growth story, or is that all in the price from yesterday?
So there's a lot of gloom out there. Commodities absolutely are trading very negatively, a very kind of bad message on China's economy and the global economy. So that's one aspect. And I think, we're seeing cross-yen weekend, which is again quite a negative story. On the flip side, equities still are near record highs around the world. So which is right? I am in the camp that for once equities are probably better and being optimistic. But I'm wary about that negativity out there. If you want to spin it positively, so much bearishness makes it easier to be a bull.